In the final moments of the 2024 season, an unexpected fight broke out between Max Verstappen and George Russell. What started as a fiery criticism in Qatar escalated to a battle of loaded insults, and it appears that both parties have exchanged words off-screen. What was said behind the scenes? Max Verstappen has revealed that he and George Russell have patched things up after their fiery exchanges during the final races of the 2024 Formula One season, ensuring a fine relationship heading into 2025. Tensions peaked in Abu Dhabi after a war of words erupted between the pair, fueled by lingering fallout from Qatar, where Verstappen's grid penalty handed Russell pole position. The drama boiled over in the season finale, with Russell referencing the controversial Abu Dhabi 2021 showdown and accusing Verstappen of threatening to crash intentionally. Verstappen fired back, branding Russell a loser and accusing him of lying to engineer a penalty against him for alleged slow driving during Qatar qualifying. Despite the heated clashes, Verstappen confirmed to Kleine Zeitung that they've cleared the air, ensuring a clean slate as the new season approaches. "We spoke briefly after the race in Abu Dhabi. That's okay. We'll start again next year and that will be fine." As tensions simmered between Max Verstappen and George Russell during the end-of-season festivities, the duo found themselves sitting at opposite ends of the table during Formula One's traditional drivers' dinner. The chilly atmosphere between the rivals didn't stop the rest of the grid from injecting some humour into the night, with Verstappen's new Red Bull teammate Liam Lawson dishing the details of a cheeky prank pulled on Russell. Lawson spilled the beans during an appearance on the Pit Stop podcast, saying, "This is fucking funny. We rock up and we're at this big table. Me and Yuki got there together, and we weren't the first people there. There were probably like 6 or 7 people there. But as the table was filling up, there was basically one side of the table was pretty much full, and opposite me was Max. And then there was like 3 chairs to the left at the end of the table that were left. And George hadn't turned up at this point. We were like, this is perfect. Everybody that was coming, we were like, fill that side of the table. We're going to save that spot for George right next to Max." Then George arrives and we were all like, hey. And Max was like, "Here mate, we've saved a seat for you." And George just picks up the chair and walks to the other end of the table and sits on the other side of the table with Lewis. We thought it would be funny. It wasn't funny. It was funny for us. And when asked if George had said anything at all about it, Lawson said, "Nothing. We kind of expected them to put it on hold for the drivers' dinner." At first, Russell went round the table saying hi to everybody, but he just came back and picked up the chair. Now, Jos Verstappen is getting himself involved in the scuffle, hinting that his son could leave Red Bull and take George Russell's Mercedes team from him. Russell is poised to take the reins as Mercedes' lead driver, following Lewis Hamilton's high-profile switch to Ferrari, with young talent Kimi Antonelli stepping in as his deputy. Meanwhile, uncertainty clouds Max Verstappen's future at Red Bull, with Jos openly critical of the team's 2024 car design despite their 4th consecutive championship triumph. Speaking to the Mirror, Verstappen Sr. stoked the rumour mill, voicing frustration over Red Bull's performance this season and leaving fans to wonder if a seismic shift in the driver lineup could be on the horizon. Red Bull needs to build a car that is no longer so difficult to drive. Anything is possible. He can stay at Red Bull if he sees the point. His goal is to be able to win races. If he feels this is no longer possible at Red Bull, a switch is not out of the question. Despite being contracted to Red Bull until 2028, whispers persist that Max Verstappen may cut his tenure short, or even contemplate early retirement. This speculation has added intrigue to Mercedes' long-term plans, as team boss Toto Wolff has previously expressed admiration for the Dutchman, calling him a huge talent. While Wolff emphasised in November that Mercedes is focused on building with Kimi Antonelli and George Russell, Verstappen's availability could upend those plans. Such a scenario might put Russell's position under scrutiny, especially as Verstappen would be a game-changing addition to the Silver Arrows. Russell, however, appeared unfazed back in September, stating that, "We've always said we will be continuing together for the indefinite future." George Russell actually spoke about the possibility of teaming up with Verstappen back in May, and he expressed openness to the potential partnership. At the time, the Mercedes driver said he was all for it, eager to test himself against the best. However, recent clashes may have shifted his stance. Despite the friction, Verstappen's potential availability, amid speculation of dissatisfaction at Red Bull, raises questions about Russell's long-term security at Mercedes. Jos Verstappen's recent remarks have fueled rumours that Wolff might face a tough decision between Russell and Verstappen. Given Wolff's admiration for Verstappen and the Dutchman's glittering track record, It's a choice that could leave Russell on uncertain footing. Max Verstappen's rogues gallery doesn't stop there. He recently shrugged off criticism from McLaren boss Zak Brown over his aggressive driving style, responding with a cutting remark about Brown's own racing past. Verstappen secured his fourth consecutive World Championship in 2024, fending off a strong challenge from McLaren's Lando Norris. Despite Norris narrowing the gap, Verstappen clinched the title with a commanding 63-point lead, underlining his dominance in Formula One. Max Verstappen's crowning achievement in Las Vegas, where he clinched his fourth consecutive World Championship, came on the heels of a controversial clash with Lando Norris in Mexico. The Red Bull star received two 10-second penalties in quick succession for separate incidents with his McLaren rival, igniting a heated debate over his aggressive racing style. McLaren CEO Zak Brown didn't hold back in his criticism of the 27-year-old, blasting Verstappen's conduct in the immediate aftermath of the race. Brown said, "He's such an awesome racing driver that I just don't think he needs to drive like that. Just drive like the world champion you are. It was unnecessary, puts everybody at risk, and it's not clean racing." Zak Brown's sharp comments about Max Verstappen's driving in Mexico weren't his first jab at the Red Bull camp this season. Just months earlier, Brown took aim at the team's management following a collision between Verstappen and Lando Norris at the Austrian Grand Prix. Speaking to media at Silverstone a week later, the McLaren boss questioned Red Bull's win-at-all-costs approach, suggesting it sets a troubling precedent. Brown added, "Nasty is not how McLaren goes racing." A new clip has emerged showing Max Verstappen's response to Zak Brown's criticism following the Mexican Grand Prix. In the footage, the Red Bull driver bursts out laughing when recalling Brown's comments about his racing style, mocking the McLaren CEO's failed career as a racing driver. The moment, captured in a Viaplay-produced documentary, features a smiling Verstappen casually dismissing Brown's remarks, saying, "I always find that really funny coming from someone that failed himself in racing." After barely missing out on the 2024 title, Zak Brown is confident that Lando Norris has learned valuable lessons from his season-long battle with Max Verstappen. Ahead of a potential 2025 rematch, Brown believes Norris now knows exactly how to deal with Max on the track. He said, "I think Lando has learned how to fight against Max. Because Max has been very open about how he drives. If you try to overtake him on the outside, he won't let you. But Lando gave him a great fight in Mexico and also made sure that there was no clash between the two of them. We were fighting for the Constructors' title and we couldn't afford to be too aggressive. So Lando did the right thing, and I think he knows exactly how to deal with Max on the track. I am convinced that he will perform differently next year." Max Verstappen has given fans a rare glimpse into his competitive mindset, admitting that he's willing to cross the line in pursuit of the maximum result during wheel-to-wheel battles. The Red Bull driver, known for his fierce approach on track, acknowledged that his aggressive tactics are all part of his drive for victory. He said, "I will always get the maximum out of it. Sometimes you have to cross a line and I'll do that. I will do everything to get the maximum result out of it for a championship. And of course, yes, sometimes you have to be on the limit, over the limit. You have to calculate all that, and not everyone understands that. Not everyone has that mentality." Do you think we'll be seeing more people complain about Max Verstappen's aggressiveness now that he doesn't have the fastest car on the grid? Let's talk about it in the comments section down below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.